I found out about my husband's second family at a grocery store on a Tuesday afternoon. I was in the produce section, picking out apples, when I heard a child's voice say, "Daddy, can we get the cookies you like?" I turned automatically because the voice sounded so familiar, because I'd heard a child call someone daddy in that exact tone 1,000 times before. And there he was, my husband, Michael, pushing a shopping cart with a little boy sitting in the seat, a boy who looked about 5 years old with Michael's nose and Michael's smile. But we didn't have a 5-year-old son. We didn't have any children. I stood frozen, holding an apple, watching as Michael laughed and ruffled the boy's hair as he reached for a box of cookies, the same brand he kept in our pantry at home. And then a woman walked up, pretty, younger than me, maybe 30. She was holding a baby. She leaned in and kissed Michael on the cheek, said something I couldn't hear. He smiled at her the way he used to smile at me, the way he still smiled at me when he came home from his business trips. My hand opened. The apple fell, hit the floor with a thud that made several people turn and look, including Michael. Our eyes met across the produce section, and I watched the color drain from his face, watched him go completely still, watched the moment he realized his two worlds had just collided. The woman noticed him staring, followed his gaze, looked at me with confusion. The little boy kept talking, oblivious. "Daddy, you promised we could get ice cream too, remember?" I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't process what I was seeing. Michael had a whole other family, a wife or girlfriend or whatever she was, a little boy, a baby, a life I knew nothing about. How long, how many years had he been living this double life? How many times had he kissed me goodbye, said he was going on a business trip, and driven to another house, another woman, another child calling him daddy? The woman said something to Michael. He shook his head, said something back. She looked at me again, and I saw understanding start to dawn on her face. She knew, or she was figuring it out right now. I should have walked over, should have confronted him, should have demanded answers. But I couldn't. I just stood there, surrounded by apples and oranges and other people's normal Tuesday afternoons, watching my marriage dissolve in real time. Michael took a step toward me, opened his mouth to speak. I ran. I left my cart, left the store, got in my car and drove. No destination, just away, away from the image of my husband with another family, away from the reality I couldn't face yet. My name is Catherine. I'm 42 years old. I've been married to Michael for 17 years. Or at least I thought I was married to him, thought I knew him, thought we had a life together. But everything I believed was a lie, because while I was living in our house, sleeping in our bed, believing in our marriage, Michael was building a completely separate life with someone else. And I never suspected a thing. This is the story of how my world ended in a grocery store, and what I did when I finally stopped running and turned to face the truth. Let me tell you about my marriage. About who we were before that Tuesday afternoon shattered everything. I met Michael when I was 25 years old at a friend's wedding. He was the best man. I was a bridesmaid. It was one of those romantic, almost cliché meetings that you see in movies. He asked me to dance. We talked for hours. He made me laugh until my sides hurt. He was charming and successful, and attentive in a way that made me feel like I was the only person in the room. We dated for 2 years. He was a sales representative for a pharmaceutical company. He traveled a lot for work, 3 or 4 days a week sometimes. But when he was home, he was completely present, completely mine. He proposed on a beach in Hawaii, got down on one knee at sunset. The ring was perfect, the moment was perfect, everything felt perfect. We got married 6 months later, a beautiful ceremony, 200 guests. My parents cried. His parents gave a toast about how lucky he was to find a woman like me. I believed I was the lucky one. We bought a house in the suburbs, a 4-bedroom colonial with a big backyard. Room for the family we'll have, Michael said. I was a graphic designer, working for a marketing firm. My job was stable, the hours were reasonable, I could work from home sometimes. It seemed like the perfect setup for starting a family. We tried for a baby right away, but nothing happened. Month after month, the pregnancy tests came back negative. After a year, we went to a fertility specialist. Tests, procedures, conversations about IVF and other options. It's just taking longer than we hoped, Michael would say, holding my hand in waiting rooms. We'll figure it out. We have time. But the years passed. 27 became 30. 30 became 35. The fertility treatments didn't work. Or we get pregnant and I'd miscarry. 3 times. 3 devastating losses that left me hollow and grieving. Michael was supportive through all of it. He held me when I cried. He said all the right things. We have each other. That's what matters. A baby will happen when it's meant to happen. Eventually, we stopped trying. The emotional toll was too much. The hope and disappointment cycle was destroying me. Maybe we're meant to be just us, I said one night, lying in bed after another negative test. Maybe that's okay. Of course it's okay, Michael said, pulling me close. You're all I need, Catherine. I mean that. And I believed him. We built a life around being a couple. We traveled, took cooking classes together, renovated the house room by room, had dinner parties with friends. We looked happy. We acted happy. Were we happy? I thought so. Michael's job continued to demand a lot of travel. If anything, it increased over the years. He'd be gone Monday through Thursday most weeks, sometimes longer if there was a big conference or important client meeting. I hate being away from you, he'd say, kissing me goodbye every Monday morning. But this job pays for our life, for the house, for the trips. It's worth it. And it did pay well. Michael made good money. We lived comfortably. I never had to worry about bills or saving for retirement. He handled all of that. You focus on your design work. I'll handle the finances. We each do what we're good at. It seemed like a fair division of labor. When he was gone during the week, I filled my time. Work, friends, yoga classes, book club. I had a full life. I didn't sit around pining for my husband. And when he came home on Thursday nights or Friday mornings, we'd reconnect, go out to dinner, watch movies, make love, talk about our weeks. It rang again and again. 15 calls in 30 minutes. Text messages started coming through. Catherine, please let me explain. It's not what it looked like. Please come home. We need to talk. I'm so sorry. Please just let me explain. Not what it looked like. He had a child, a baby, another woman. How could that be anything other than what it looked like? I turned my phone off,
sat in the dark and tried to figure out what to do. Go home? Confront him? Demand answers I wasn't sure I wanted to hear? Or just drive? Keep driving. Run away from this nightmare. I thought about our 17 years together. Every memory, every moment, every I love you. How much of it was real? How much was performance? Who was Michael, really? Because the man I thought I married, faithful, devoted, honest, he didn't exist. The real Michael was someone who could maintain 2 complete lives, 2 families, 2 sets of children, 2 women who believed they were his wife. Or was I even his wife? Were we even legally married? Or was that a lie too? I thought about the woman in the store, the pretty younger woman with his baby. She'd looked confused when she saw Michael staring at me. She didn't look like a mistress who knew she was the other woman. She looked like a wife. Which meant maybe I was the other woman. Maybe she was the real family and I was the secret, the side life he maintained while his true family waited at home. The thought made me physically ill. I opened the car door just in time to vomit into the parking lot. How long had this been going on? The boy looked about 5, so at least 5 years. Probably longer if you counted the pregnancy. 5 years, maybe more, of lies, of double life, of Michael kissing me goodbye and driving to someone else. Had he been with her when I was going through fertility treatments, when I was miscarrying our babies and grieving? Had he held her when she was pregnant, been there for the births, stayed up with crying newborns? All the things I'd wanted. All the things we'd supposedly been trying for together. He'd been doing them with someone else? I started crying. Deep, wrenching sobs that hurt my chest and made it hard to breathe. 17 years of my life? Gone. Erased. Revealed as fiction. Everything I thought I knew was wrong. Everything I believed was a lie. And I had no idea what to do next. I drove home eventually. I had nowhere else to go. Michael's car was in the driveway. The lights were on inside. He was waiting for me. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, staring at the house, our house, the home we'd built together over 17 years, the place I'd felt safe. It looked the same as it had this morning. Same blue shutters, same flower beds I'd planted, same front door we'd painted last spring. But everything was different. I walked inside. Michael was sitting on the couch. He stood up when I entered. His face was pale, red-rimmed eyes like he'd been crying. "Catherine, don't." I held up my hand. "Don't say my name like that. Don't say anything right now. Please, I need to explain." "Explain what? Explain your son, your baby, your other wife?" "She's not my wife. You're my wife." I laughed. It came out harsh and bitter. "Am I? Because that woman looked pretty comfortable with you, pretty familiar, like she'd been with you more than just a few months?" Michael's face crumbled. "Catherine, please sit down. Let me tell you everything." "How long?" "What? How long have you had another family?" "Years, clearly. That boy is, what, 5, 6? "He's 5. His name is—" "I don't want to know his name." My voice rose. "I don't want to know anything about them. I want to know how long you've been lying to me." Michael sat back down heavily, put his head in his hands. 7 years. The number hit me like a physical blow. 7 years. Almost half of our marriage. 7 years. I repeated, "You've had another family for 7 years. It's not what you think. Tell me, Michael, what do I think about my husband having children with another woman while I was crying myself to sleep over miscarriages? He flinched. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Explain it to me. He took a deep breath. I met her 8 years ago on a business trip. Her name is Alicia. She was a bartender at the hotel where I was staying. We talked, we clicked. I wasn't planning for anything to happen, but it did. You had an affair. Yes. At first, that's all it was. Just a few times when I was in that city for work. I told myself it didn't mean anything, that it was just physical. But it became more. She got pregnant. It was an accident. We'd been careful, but he trailed off. And you didn't tell me. How could I? We'd been trying for years. You just had your third miscarriage. You were devastated. I couldn't tell you I'd gotten someone else pregnant. So you just, what? Started a second family? I wanted her to have an abortion. I know that's awful, but I did. But she wouldn't. She wanted to keep the baby, wanted me to be involved. And you said yes? I didn't know what else to do. She threatened to tell you if I didn't support her, support the baby. I panicked. So you built a whole other life to avoid telling me the truth. I thought I could manage it. I was already traveling for work. I could just extend the trips, split my time, keep everyone happy. Keep everyone happy. I stared at him. You thought you could keep everyone happy by lying to us all? I know how it sounds. Do you? Do you have any idea what this feels like? I've been alone in this house for years, thinking you were working, missing you, waiting for you to come home, and the whole time you were with them? Playing house with another family? I never stopped loving you. Don't dare say you love me while you were building a life with someone else. Michael's voice broke. It's true. I love you, Catherine. I've always loved you. Alicia, she was a mistake that got out of control, but you're my wife. You're the one I chose. Chose? You chose both of us. You chose to lie to both of us. I know, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I felt hysteria building in my chest. The baby. There's a baby too. How old? 10 months. So you've been with her this whole time, for 7 years, through pregnancy and birth, twice. Yes. Does she know about me? Michael was quiet. Does she know? I demanded. No. She thinks we're together, that I'm her partner, that we're a family. So she's living the same lie I am, thinking you're faithful, thinking you're hers. Yes. Where does she live? About an hour from here. I told her I'd travel for work, that I'm gone a few days a week. The symmetry of it was sickening. He'd told both of us he traveled for work, used the same lie to maintain both lives. Where were you supposed to be this week when I saw you?
Here, with you. I told Alicia I had a work trip, but then Mason, that's my son, he got sick last week. Alicia needed help, so I changed plans, told you I had a meeting in Cincinnati, went to stay with them instead. You chose them over me. It wasn't like that. She needed help with a sick child. What was I supposed to do? Tell her the truth. Tell me the truth. Not continue this insane double life? I know. You're right. I didn't know how to fix it, how to untangle it all without destroying everything. So you just kept going, kept lying, kept playing house with both of us. I'm so sorry, Catherine. Stop saying you're sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. Sorry doesn't change the fact that you've wasted 7 years of my life, that you've given another woman the family I wanted, that you've lied to me every single day. I was crying now, angry, bitter tears. How many times Michael, how many times did you kiss me goodbye and drive straight to her? How many times did you tell me you loved me while you were living with them? I do love you. You don't. You can't love someone and do this to them. You can't. He tried to reach for me. I stepped back. Don't touch me. Don't ever touch me again. Catherine, please, we can work through this. Get counseling, figure out. Work through this? You have 2 children with another woman. You've been living a double life for 7 years. There's nothing to work through. We're done. Don't say that, please. I'll end it with her. I'll focus on us. We can rebuild. End it with her? She has your children. You can't just end it. I can. I will. I choose you. I've always chosen you. You chose both of us. That's the problem. My phone rang. I looked at the screen. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. Hello? Is this Catherine? A woman's voice, young, shaking. My heart stopped. Yes? This is Alicia. I think we need to talk. I looked at Michael. His face had gone white. How did you get my number? I looked through Michael's phone after we got home from the store, after I realized who you were. Your number was saved under Sister Sarah. But I'm not stupid. I know you're not his sister. Sister Sarah? He'd saved my number under a fake name. Even his phone was part of the lie. You didn't know about me. No. Did you know about me? Not until today. I saw you at the grocery store. That's how I found out. Alicia was crying now. He told me you were his wife, that you'd been together for 17 years. I am his wife. Legally married, 17 years. But he lives with me. He's here 5 days a week. He's a father to our children. How is that possible if he's married to you? He told me he travels for work, that he's gone a few days a week, but home on weekends. He told me the same thing, that he travels for work, that he's gone a few days a week. We were both silent, processing, understanding the full scope of his deception. We need to meet, Alicia said, in person. Compare stories, figure out what's real and what's lies. I looked at Michael. His face had gone white. He was shaking his head frantically, mouthing, "No, please." "Okay," I said. "When?" "Tomorrow? There's a coffee shop on Oak Street. Do you know it?" "I'll find it." "What time?" 10 in the morning? My mother can watch the kids. "I'll be there." I hung up. Michael stood up. "Catherine, please don't do this. Don't meet with her. It'll only make things worse." "Worse? How could it possibly be worse than finding out my husband has been living with another woman for 7 years? She's angry. She'll say things, turn you against me." "I don't need her to turn me against you. You did that yourself." "Just let me handle Alicia. Let me talk to her. Work it out." "Work it out? How exactly do you plan to work out having 2 families?" He didn't have an answer. I walked upstairs, started pulling clothes out of the closet, throwing them in a suitcase. Michael followed. "What are you doing?" "I'm leaving. I'm going to Lauren's." "Please don't go. We need to talk. Work through this." "There's nothing to work through. You made your choices. You built this life. Now you get to live in it. Alone." "Catherine, did you ever love me? Really love me?" "Yes, I do love you." "Then why? Why did you do this?" He sat on the bed, looking broken. "I don't know. At first it was just attraction, an escape. Someone who didn't know about the fertility struggles and the miscarriages. Someone who just made me feel good. And when she got pregnant, I panicked. I thought about telling you, But you were so depressed from the last miscarriage. I thought it would destroy you. So I tried to handle it myself. By starting a second family. I thought I could manage both. Keep both lives separate. Make everyone happy. And when the second baby came,
By then, it was too late. Too complicated. Too many lies built on top of lies. I didn't know how to stop it. So you just kept going. Yes. I zipped the suitcase. I'm meeting Alicia tomorrow. I'm going to find out the truth. All of it. How much time you spent with them, what you told her about us, everything. She's going to be angry. She's going to want to hurt me, and she'll use you to do it. Good. You deserve to be hurt. But what about us? What about our marriage? I looked at him. This man I'd loved for 17 years. This stranger who'd lived a double life. There is no us. There hasn't been for 7 years. I just didn't know it. I grabbed my suitcase and walked out of our bedroom, down the stairs, toward the front door. Catherine, please! Michael followed me. Don't leave like this. Stay. Talk to me. We can figure this out together. Together. We've never been together. Not really. Half of you was always somewhere else, with someone else. That's not true. It is true. And I was too stupid to see it, too trusting, too naive. I opened the front door, looked back at him one last time. I want you out of this house. Find somewhere else to stay. I don't care where. Your other house, a hotel, I don't care. But I don't want you here when I come back. This is my house too. Then I'll leave permanently. Sell it. Divide everything. File for divorce. Is that what you want? No, I want to fix this. You can't fix this. It's not a mistake, Michael. It's not a one-time thing I can forgive. It's 7 years of calculated lying, of building an entire life behind my back, of giving someone else everything I wanted. You can't fix that. I walked out, got in my car, drove away. In my rearview mirror, I saw Michael standing in the doorway, looking devastated. I didn't care. I drove to Lauren's house, knocked on the door. She opened it, took one look at my face, and pulled me inside. What happened? And I told her everything. The grocery store, the family, the 7 years of lies. Lauren listened with growing horror. Oh my God, Catherine, oh my God. I'm meeting her tomorrow. The other woman, Alicia. Is that a good idea? I need to know. I need to know how much of my marriage was real and how much was fiction. What are you going to do after you talk to her? I don't know. Divorce him, probably. I can't stay married to someone who did this. Good. He deserves to be hurt. I spent that night at Lauren's. Didn't sleep. Just lay in her guest bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about 7 years of lies. 7 years of Michael kissing me goodbye and driving to another life. 7 years of being a fool. My phone buzzed constantly. Michael calling, texting, begging. Please come home. We can work through this. I love you. Don't throw away 17 years. I turned the phone off. I couldn't listen to his excuses anymore. In the morning, I got dressed. Put on makeup to hide the fact that I had been crying all night. Tried to look composed. Lauren hugged me before I left. Call me after. Let me know you're okay. I will. I drove to the coffee shop on Oak Street. Got there 15 minutes early. Ordered a coffee I knew I wouldn't drink. And I waited to meet the woman who'd been living my life, who had the children I couldn't have, who thought she was Michael's partner, who was just as much a victim of his lies as I was. Alicia walked in at exactly 10 o'clock. I recognized her immediately. She was even prettier up close. Dark hair pulled back in a ponytail, tired eyes. She was wearing yoga pants and a sweatshirt. No makeup. She looked like she hadn't slept either. She spotted me and walked over. We stared at each other for a moment. Two women connected by the same man, the same lies. Catherine? Yes,
You must be Alicia." She sat down across from me. "This is so weird. I never thought I'd be doing this." Me neither. We sat in awkward silence. Then Alicia said, "I need to know. Are you really his wife? Legally married?" I pulled out my phone, showed her a photo from our wedding, Michael and me young and happy. 17 years ago, church wedding, legal marriage certificate, the whole thing. She stared at the photo. Her hands were shaking. "He told me you existed, but he said you were getting divorced, that it was just taking time because of assets and lawyers, that you were separated." "We were never separated. I saw him last Monday morning. He kissed me goodbye, told me he loved me, said he had a business trip. He came to my house Monday afternoon, told me he'd finished his work trip early, spent the week with me and the kids." "He told you he travels for work?" 3 days a week, Monday through Wednesday usually, sometimes Thursday. He said his territory covers multiple states, that he has to be on the road constantly. He told me the same thing, that he's gone Monday through Thursday or Friday, that it's demanding but pays well. Alicia's face was pale. "So neither of us are the mistress. We're both what? Both his wife?" "I'm legally his wife, but you're the one he lives with most of the time." 5 days a week, she confirmed. "He's only traveling for 2 or 3 days. The rest of the time he's with us." The math was devastating. Michael spent more time with them than with me. I was the weekend wife, the part-time marriage. "Tell me how you met. Tell me everything." Alicia took a shaky breath. 8 years ago, I was bartending at a hotel. He came in after a conference. We talked. He was charming, funny. He said he was going through a divorce, that his wife, you, had cheated on him, that he was trying to rebuild his life. I never cheated. I know that now, but I believed him then. We started seeing each other whenever he was in town for work, a few times a month at first, then more often. And you got pregnant. Yes, about a year into our relationship. It was an accident. I was scared, but Michael said it was perfect timing, that his divorce would be final soon, that we could be a real family. But the divorce never happened. He kept saying there were delays, legal complications. His lawyer wasn't moving fast enough. But he promised we'd get married as soon as it was final. Did he live with you back then? Not at first. He said he had an apartment near his office, that he stayed there during the week. But he was at my place 3 or 4 nights a week, and every weekend. Every weekend, when he was supposed to be home with me. When did he move in with you full time? After Mason was born. He said he wanted to be there for his son, that he couldn't be a part-time father, so he started staying at my place 5 days a week instead of 3. And you never questioned why the divorce was taking so long? I did, constantly, but he always had explanations. You were being difficult. Your lawyer was dragging it out. There were asset disputes. She looked at me. Were you filing for divorce? No, I had no idea there was anything wrong with our marriage. I thought we were happy, just dealing with the normal challenges of him traveling for work. God, Alicia put her head in her hands. I'm so stupid. I should have seen through it. We both should have. He's very good at lying.
Or he lied to me. What day did you celebrate? June 15th. He showed me his driver's license. It said June 15th. He has a fake ID? We both sat back, processing. The lies went even deeper than we thought. I need to know something, I said.
Did he ever talk about children, about wanting them? Alicia nodded. All the time. He said he'd always wanted to be a father, that it was his biggest dream. Why? The pain hit me like a physical force. We tried for years to have children, years of fertility treatments. I had 3 miscarriages. He knew how badly I wanted a baby. He was there for all of it. He held me when I cried. He said we'd keep trying. Oh my God, he was having babies with me while you were struggling to get pregnant? Yes. Alicia started crying. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. It's not your fault. Neither of us knew. He told you you didn't want children, that it was one of the reasons your marriage failed, that you were career-focused and he wanted a family. I wanted children more than anything. It just didn't happen for us. For me. We sat in the coffee shop, 2 women crying over the same man's lies. What else did he tell you about me? I asked. That I was cold, distant, that the marriage had been dead for years before you cheated, that he'd tried to make it work but you'd checked out emotionally. I was never cold. I loved him. I thought he loved me. He made me think I was saving him, giving him the family and love he'd always wanted. I thought I was the good thing that happened to him after years of unhappiness. And he made me think our marriage was solid, that we were partners, that the only thing missing was children. Alicia wiped her eyes. How did he manage this, logistically? How did he keep track of all the lies? I've been wondering that too. He must have had a system, calendars, maybe separate emails, separate everything. He has 2 phones. I've seen him with his work phone. He's very protective of it. Same. He said it was for clients, that he didn't want it disturbing our personal time. I bet 1 phone is for you, 1 is for me. The level of planning, the organization required to maintain 2 complete lives, it was sociopathic. Did he give you money, support you financially? Yes. He pays all our bills, rent, groceries, everything. I work part-time from home, but I don't make much. We live off his income mostly. Our house is paid off. He handles all our finances. I never question where the money went. He must make a fortune to support 2 households. Or he has debt we don't know about. Credit cards, loans. Should we look into his finances? Figure out what's real? Yes, we should figure out everything. All of it. No more secrets. Alicia pulled out a notebook. Okay, let's make a timeline. Compare what he told each of us. Figure out where he was and when. We spent the next 2 hours comparing notes. The picture that emerged was staggering. Michael had structured his life down to the minute. Monday morning, he'd leave my house, tell me he was traveling for work, drive an hour to Alicia's house, spend Monday through Friday with them. Friday evening or Saturday morning, he'd tell Alicia he had a work trip. Drive back to me, spend the weekend being my husband. Holidays he'd negotiate, Christmas with me, Thanksgiving with them, rotating so both of us got some major holidays. Vacations were carefully scheduled so they never overlapped. He'd tell me he was at a work conference when he was actually with them at the beach. He'd tell Alicia he was dealing with divorce stuff when I was actually with him in Hawaii. He had excuses for everything, explanations that made sense in isolation, but crumbled when compared to each other. There's something else, Alicia said quietly. Something I haven't told you yet. What? I'm pregnant again. 3 months. The room spun. Another baby? Yes. I just found out last month. I haven't told many people yet. Does Michael know? Yes, I told him 2 weeks ago. He seemed happy. Said we'd figure it out, that the divorce would be final soon, and we could make it official. 3 children. Michael had 3 children with this woman, while I had none. I'm sorry, Alicia said, seeing my face. I know this must be. It's not your fault. I said again, none of this is your fault. He lied to both of us. What are we going to do? About him? About all of this? I'm divorcing him. That's not a question. But you have children with him. It's more complicated for you. I don't want him back. I don't want anything to do with him but the kids. They need a father, or at least financial support. I can't afford to raise 3 kids on my own. He'll have to pay child support. A lot of it. For 3 children. Alicia looked terrified. What if he refuses? What if he just disappears? He can't. We'll make sure of it. Legally. We'll both get lawyers, make sure he faces consequences. I can't afford a lawyer. I can, or we can find you one who works on contingency. We'll figure it out. My phone buzzed. Michael calling. I declined it. Alicia's phone buzzed a moment later. It's him. Don't answer. He's been calling all morning, texting, asking where I am, if I'm okay. Let him wonder.
We sat for a moment. Then Alicia said, "Do you want to confront him? Together?" "What do you mean?" "Go to him, both of us. Make him face what he's done. Face both of us at the same time." The idea was appealing, making Michael squirm, making him try to explain himself to both of us at once. "Where is he?" I asked. He texted that he's at home. Our home. My apartment. Watching the kids while I run errands. "So he's there now?" "Yes. Let's go." We left the coffee shop in separate cars. I followed Alicia to an apartment complex about an hour away. A nice area, family-friendly, the kind of place you'd want to raise children. The kind of life I'd wanted. We parked and walked up to a second-floor unit. Alicia pulled out her keys, looked at me. "Are you ready for this?" "Yes." She unlocked the door. We walked in. The apartment was exactly what I'd expected. Toys on the floor, photos on the walls, pictures of Michael with Alicia and the kids, pictures of a happy family. A 5-year-old boy was playing with blocks in the living room. He looked up when we entered. "Mommy, you're back!" Then he saw me. "Who's that?" "A friend," Alicia said. "Where's Daddy?" "Bedroom. He's putting Emma down for a nap." Michael walked out of the bedroom a moment later, carrying a baby, wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt, looking comfortable, at home. He froze when he saw me standing next to Alicia. "Catherine, what are you doing here?" "We've been comparing notes," I said, Alicia and I, getting to know each other. "You shouldn't be here." "Why?" "Because this is your other home, your other family, the life you've been hiding from me for 7 years. The little boy looked confused. "Daddy, who is that lady?" "Buddy, why don't you go play in your room for a bit?" Michael said. His voice was shaking. "But I want to stay." "Now, Mason? Please?" The boy gathered his toys and left, looking back at us with wide, worried eyes. Michael put the baby in a bouncer, turned to face us. "Let me explain." "Explain what?" Alicia said. "That you've been lying to me for 8 years? That Catherine isn't your ex-wife? That you're not getting divorced?" "I can explain, both of you. Just let me." "You told her I cheated on you. You told her I was cold and career-focused and didn't want children. You made her think you were rescuing him from a terrible marriage.
And you told me Alicia was a mistress, someone who didn't mean anything, someone you were going to leave. Michael's face was gray. I was trying to keep everyone happy. By lying to everyone? I stepped closer. You have 3 children with her, Michael, 3. While I was crying over miscarriages and failed fertility treatments, while I was grieving the babies we lost, you were here, building a family with someone else. I didn't plan for this to happen. 7 years! I was shouting now. 7 years of calculated lies. This wasn't an accident. This was a choice you made every single day. I love both of you. No, Alicia said, you don't love either of us. If you loved us, you wouldn't have done this. You wouldn't have built your happiness on our pain. I made mistakes. Mistakes? I laughed bitterly. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. A mistake is saying something hurtful in an argument. This is not a mistake. This is systematic deception. This is living a double life. This is being 2 completely different people. The baby started crying. The sound cut through the tension. Michael picked her up, held her, and I saw him clearly for the first time. Not as my husband, not as the man I loved, but as a stranger, someone capable of extraordinary compartmentalization, someone who could hold a baby with one woman while married to another and feel no apparent conflict. What's her name? I asked quietly. Emma. Emma? And the boy is Mason, and you have another baby on the way. Michael's eyes shot to Alicia. You told her? I told her everything, Alicia said. Every lie you fed me, every excuse you made, every time you said the divorce was almost final. We compared calendars, I added, figured out where you were and when, how you structured your time, your lies, all of it. Michael sat down heavily, still holding the baby. What do you want me to say? That I'm sorry? I am. That I regret this? I do. We don't want your apologies. We want the truth, all of it. No more lies. What truth? Do you have other families, other women, other children we don't know about? No, God, no. Just you two. Just this. Just this. Like 2 families, 3 children, and 8 years of lies is nothing. Why? Why did you do this? Really? Michael looked at both of us, broken, defeated. Because I'm a coward. Because when Alicia got pregnant, I couldn't face telling you, and once I started lying, I couldn't stop. It snowballed, got bigger and more complicated, and I just kept going, kept trying to make it work. Make what work? Having both lives, both of you. I love both of you in different ways. You, he looked at me. You're my foundation, my home, the life I built. And you, he looked at Alicia. You're my family, my children, the life I always wanted.
So you decided to have both, I said, regardless of what it cost us. I know it was selfish. Selfish doesn't even begin to cover it. Alicia picked up her phone. I want you out of this apartment, out of our lives. Alicia, please. No, you don't get to beg. You don't get to explain anymore. You're a liar. I'm their father. You're a sperm donor who happened to stick around. A real father doesn't lie to his children's mother for 8 years. Michael turned to me. Catherine? I'm filing for divorce, I said. Tomorrow. I'll take half of everything. The house, the investments, the retirement accounts, everything you've hidden from me. You can't. I can, and I will. And you'll pay Alicia child support. For 3 children, a substantial amount. I can't afford to support 2 households. You should have thought of that before you created 2 households, Alicia said. You'll figure it out, I added. Get a second job, sell your things, I don't care, but you will support your children, and you will face consequences for what you've done. Michael started crying, holding his baby, looking between us. Please, both of you, don't do this. We can work something out. I can make this right. There's no making this right, I said. There's just moving forward without you. I turned to Alicia. Do you have a lawyer? No. I'll get you a referral from my divorce attorney, someone who specializes in family law. We'll make sure you and the children are protected. Thank you. I looked at Michael one last time. This man I'd loved for 17 years. This stranger in a life I didn't recognize. Goodbye, Michael. I walked out of the apartment, out of his second life, back to my car, and I drove away from the wreckage of my marriage, toward whatever came next. I didn't know what my future looked like, didn't know who I'd be without him, without the life we'd built. But I knew one thing. I was done being lied to, done being the woman who waited at home while her husband lived another life. I was done being half of Michael's double life. It was time to build a life that was completely mine. I called a divorce attorney the next morning. Her name was Patricia Walsh. She came highly recommended by Lauren, who'd gone through her own divorce 3 years earlier. Tell me everything, Patricia said when I met with her that afternoon. I did. The whole story. The grocery store discovery, the 7 years of double life, the 3 children, the meeting with Alicia, the confrontation. Patricia listened without interrupting. When she finished, she sat back in her chair. In 20 years of practice, I've seen a lot, but this is extraordinary. The level of deception is almost sociopathic. Can I get the house, the assets, everything? New York is an equitable distribution state, not community property. But given the circumstances, the hidden spending, the financial deception, the breach of trust, we can argue for more than 50%, especially if we can prove he used marital assets to support his other family. He must have. He was paying for 2 households. We'll need to do a complete financial investigation. Bank accounts, credit cards, tax returns, everything. You said he handled all the finances? Yes. I never questioned it. He said he was good with numbers, that I should focus on my work. That's a red flag. When one spouse controls all the finances, it's easier to hide things. We'll need to subpoena everything. Over the next few weeks, the truth about our finances emerged, and it was worse than I'd imagined. Michael had 3 separate bank accounts I didn't know about. He'd been funneling money from our joint account into these secret accounts for years, money he'd used to pay Alicia's rent, buy groceries for his other family, pay for vacations I knew nothing about. He had 2 credit cards in his name only, both maxed out, over $80,000 in debt I'd never known existed. He'd taken out a second mortgage on our house, $50,000, used it to pay off earlier debts from supporting both families. Our house has $50,000 in debt? I asked Patricia, staring at the documents. Yes, he forged her signature on the mortgage documents. That's fraud. We can use this. He'd also lied about his income. He made less than he told me. The bonuses and raises he'd mentioned over the years were fiction. He was making about 60% of what I thought he earned. How did he afford everything? I asked. Debt, credit cards, the second mortgage. He's been robbing Peter to pay Paul for years. It was a house of cards that was always going to collapse eventually. The discovery process revealed more. He'd been claiming Alicia's children as dependents on his taxes, getting credits and deductions for them while telling me we'd get tax benefits someday when we had children of our own. He'd taken out a life insurance policy, but instead of making me the beneficiary like he'd told me, he'd split it, 50% to me, 50% to Alicia and the children. Even in death, he'd planned to divide himself between us.
Patricia referred Alicia to a colleague who specialized in family law, Sarah Chin. Together, we coordinated our cases, made sure Michael couldn't play us against each other, couldn't hide assets from one of us by claiming poverty to the other. Alicia and I talked frequently. Not quite friends, but allies, united by a common enemy. We shared information, supported each other through the legal process, commiserated over Michael's latest excuse or manipulation attempt. He asked if I'd consider reconciliation, said he made mistakes, but he loves me, wants to be there for the kids. He told me the same thing last week, that he'd end things with you, focus on our marriage. So he's still trying to have both of us. Even now, even when we both know the truth, the audacity is almost impressive.
Almost. Michael tried everything to avoid the divorce. He begged, he cried, he promised to change, he offered to go to therapy. He said he'd do anything if I just give him another chance. I already gave you 17 years, I told him during one particularly pathetic phone call. I'm not giving you any more. Catherine, please, I love you. I made terrible mistakes, but I love you. You don't know what love is. Love doesn't lie. Love doesn't betray. Love doesn't build an entire secret family. I was trying to make everyone happy. By making everyone miserable, great job. He hired a lawyer, tried to fight the divorce settlement, claimed he deserved half the house despite the second mortgage fraud, claimed he couldn't afford spousal support or the child support Alicia was requesting. He's broke, his lawyer argued in mediation. He's been supporting 2 households for years. He has nothing left. He should have thought of that before he had 3 children with another woman while married to my client, Patricia replied coldly. The financial investigation revealed one more bombshell. Michael had a retirement account I didn't know about, one he'd been contributing to for years. It had over $200,000 in it. I thought we only had the one 401k, I said. He set this one up through a different employer years ago, before you were married, but he continued contributing to it throughout your marriage, which makes it marital property. So I get half? At minimum, possibly more given the fraud. Michael was furious when he found out we discovered the hidden retirement account. He called me screaming, "You're taking everything. You're going to leave me with nothing. You left yourself with nothing when you chose to live a double life. I have 3 children to support. How am I supposed to do that if you take all my money? You should have considered that before you had 3 children while married to someone else. You're vindictive. You're trying to punish me." No, Michael, I'm trying to protect myself. There's a difference. The divorce took 8 months to finalize, 8 months of lawyers and mediation and fighting over every asset. In the end, I got the house, minus the $50,000 second mortgage, which Michael was ordered to pay back. I got 60% of the remaining marital assets. I got half his retirement accounts. I got spousal support for 3 years while I rebuilt my career and finances. Michael was ordered to pay Alicia's substantial child support, $1,800 per month per child, over $5,000 a month total, plus health insurance, plus half of all medical expenses and childcare costs. He can't afford this, his lawyer argued. He should have thought of that before fathering 3 children. The children didn't ask to be born. They deserve support. Mr. Brennan will figure out how to provide it. On the day the divorce was finalized, I sat in the courtroom and watched the judge sign the papers. 17 years of marriage dissolved with a signature. Michael looked broken, defeated. He'd aged 10 years in 8 months. Gray hair, lines on his face, hollow eyes. I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no vindication. Just emptiness. "It's done," Patricia said as we left the courtroom. "You're free." Free? The word felt strange. I'd been married for 17 years. I didn't know how to be single, how to be just Catherine, not Catherine and Michael. I sold the house 3 months after the divorce. I couldn't live there anymore. Every room held memories that were now tainted. Every corner reminded me of the life I thought I had. I bought a small condo downtown. Just me. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a tiny kitchen. It was the opposite of the sprawling suburban house I'd shared with Michael, and it was perfect. I quit my job at the marketing firm, started freelancing instead, took on projects I found interesting rather than ones that paid the most. I had enough from the divorce settlement to be choosy, to rebuild my life on my own terms. Alicia and I met for coffee occasionally, compared notes on Michael's latest child support payment, or lack thereof. He was chronically late, chronically short, always with excuses. "The kids need new shoes," Alicia said one afternoon. "I asked him to help. He said he couldn't afford it, that he's barely making ends meet." "I know, but his lawyer says we can't prove the golf trip was expensive, that maybe a friend paid." "Can't Sarah go after him for contempt for not paying the full support?" "She's working on it, but it takes time and money for legal fees I don't have." I helped when I could, sent money for the kids. Not because I owed Michael's children anything, but because they were innocent victims in this mess. And because Alicia, despite everything, had become something like a friend. "This is so weird," she said once, "being friends with my ex's ex-wife. We're trauma bonded. We're the Michael Miller Survivors Club. We should get jackets with his mugshot on the back." We laughed, dark humor, but it helped. I started therapy. Dr. Rebecca Kim, the same therapist I'd seen after my mother died. She helped me process the betrayal, the grief, the anger. "You're moaning multiple losses," she told me. "The marriage you thought you had, the future you'd planned, the version of Michael you believed in, even the version of yourself that trusted so easily. I feel stupid. Looking back, there were signs, I just didn't see them." He was very good at deception. Sociopaths often are. This wasn't a failure on your part. It was a calculated manipulation on his. Do you think he's a sociopath? I can't diagnose someone I haven't met, but the level of compartmentalization required to maintain two families for 7 years, the no apparent guilt or remorse until he was caught, those are concerning indicators. He said he loved me, both of us. He may believe that's true, but his definition of love is very different from yours. For him, love is about meeting his own needs. For you, it's about honesty and partnership and commitment. I don't think I can ever trust anyone again. That's a normal response to betrayal, but I hope with time and healing, you'll find that not everyone is Michael, that there are people worthy of trust.
"I don't want to date. I don't want to risk this again." You don't have to date. Not now, not until you're ready. Maybe never, if that's what you choose. But don't let Michael's actions close you off from all possibility of connection. I focused on rebuilding, on rediscovering who I was outside of marriage, outside of being Michael's wife. I took an art class, discovered I loved painting, started filling my small condo with colorful, abstract pieces that made me happy. I reconnected with friends I'd lost touch with over the years, had dinners and movie nights and long conversations about everything and nothing. I traveled, went to Italy with Lauren, spent 2 weeks eating pasta and drinking wine and seeing art and remembering what joy felt like. I started volunteering at a women's shelter, helping women who were leaving abusive relationships, who were rebuilding their lives after betrayal and trauma. My story resonated with them, and their stories helped me feel less alone. 1 year after the divorce, I ran into Michael at a coffee shop. I almost didn't recognize him. He looked older, tired, worn down. "Catherine," he said, approaching my table, "can we talk?" "I don't think that's a good idea." "Please, just 5 minutes. I need to say something." Against my better judgment, I nodded. He sat down across from me. "I'm sorry," he said. "I know I've said it before, but I mean it. I'm truly sorry for what I did to you, to Alicia, to everyone." "Okay." "I'm in therapy now, trying to figure out why I did what I did, trying to understand myself." "Good for you." The therapist thinks I have attachment issues, that I was trying to avoid abandonment by making sure I always had a backup plan. If one relationship failed, I'd have another.
So you had two families as an insurance policy? I know how it sounds, but I think it's true. I was terrified of being alone, so I made sure I never would be. And you destroyed multiple lives in the process. Yes, I know. And I'm sorry.
I did start dating again. About a year ago. Nothing serious. A few dinners, some nice conversations, one brief relationship that ended amicably when we realized we wanted different things. I'm okay with that. I'm not desperate for partnership anymore, not willing to settle for someone just to avoid being alone. Because I've learned that being alone is different from being lonely, and being with someone can be the loneliest feeling in the world if that person isn't truly present. Michael taught me that in the worst possible way. I still talk to Alicia occasionally, less frequently now. We've both moved on with our lives, but we text on birthdays, check in when one of us needs to vent about Michael's latest child support excuse. She's dating someone new. A good man, she says. Someone honest. Someone who shows up. Her kids like him. I'm genuinely happy for her. She deserves stability. Deserves someone who doesn't split himself between multiple lives. Michael is still struggling. I hear updates through mutual acquaintances. He lost his job about a year ago, got fired for performance issues, probably because maintaining two families had taken a toll on his work too. He's working in sales at a car dealership now, making less money, still behind on child support, still complaining that the system is unfair to him. He doesn't seem to grasp that the unfairness was his creation, that the consequences he's facing are the natural result of his choices. I don't hate him anymore. I don't feel much of anything for him, honestly. He's just someone I used to know. Someone who taught me painful but valuable lessons. I've learned so much in these 3 years about myself, about love, about what I'm willing to accept and what I'm not. I've learned that red flags are red flags for a reason, that when something feels off, it usually is, that trusting my instincts is more important than giving someone the benefit of the doubt. I've learned that I'm stronger than I thought, that I could survive the complete destruction of my life and rebuild something better from the ashes. I've learned that I don't need another person to complete me, that I'm whole on my own, that partnership should be a choice, not a necessity. Most importantly, I've learned that betrayal says everything about the betrayer and nothing about the betrayed. Michael's lies weren't a reflection of my worth. They were a reflection of his character. I didn't deserve what he did to me. Neither did Alicia. Neither did his children, who are growing up with a father who chose deception over honesty. But we're all surviving, building lives that aren't defined by his choices. I volunteer more now at the women's shelter. I share my story with women who are going through their own betrayals, who are questioning whether they can survive, whether they'll ever be okay again. And I tell them, yes, you will survive. You will be okay. Better than okay. You'll discover strengths you didn't know you had. You'll build a life you actually want instead of one you're just enduring. It won't be easy. Some days you'll cry. Some days you'll be angry. Some days you'll miss the person you thought they were. But slowly, the good days will outnumber the bad days. And you'll wake up one morning and realize you're happy. Really, truly happy. I wish I could tell my 42-year-old self, standing in that grocery store, watching her world collapse, that everything would be okay, that the pain was temporary, that she would emerge from this stronger and freer than she'd ever been. But she had to walk through the fire to get here. We all do. Lauren is getting married next month to a wonderful man who treats her like she's precious. I'm the maid of honor. I'll stand next to her and celebrate love that's real and honest and present. And I won't be bitter, won't be cynical, because Michael's betrayal doesn't define all love, just his version of it. Real love is possible. I've seen it in my friends' relationships, in the couples I meet through volunteer work, in people who choose honesty even when it's hard. I don't know if I'll find that for myself. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll build a beautiful life filled with friends and work and travel and purpose. Maybe I'll meet someone who sees me clearly and chooses me fully. Both futures are okay. Both are enough. Because I'm enough, just as I am. Alone or partnered, with or without children, with or without the traditional markers of success. I'm enough.